Okay guys, welcome to UKBuildmods. So this is more of a site for, I don't know what that is, more of a site for people who want to build their own cars as opposed to pay someone else to do it and get it all on finance. It's more for the old school sort of generation where car modifications were first made. So we're going to do a build thread. It's going to be a vlog as well. You can catch it on Instagram and on YouTube. It's basically, we are going to take an e46 coupe. It's a 2002 model, and this is it. All right, guys, so here she is. This is e46 coupe 2002 320 Ci. It is the petrol. It is the 2.2. It has had some work done in the past. It had a bit of an overhaul a couple of years ago. It did go green at the time. It was wrapped in a satin green. I'll try and put some pictures on for you if I can. Okay, so at the moment, I've drawn some lines on it, but that's for future reference. At the moment, it runs a Mark 1 Aero kit. It does have the exhaust back box delete, so it is a bit noisy. Wheels were taken back off because they've gone onto my touring. What else have we got done? So, did have tints, did have the front headlights tinted and angel eyes fitted. There are a couple of other little bits and bobs being done, but we'll save those for a later video. As you can see here, we had the good old order it from Taiwan heads-up display, which actually did quite a good job on the basics, more for the water temperature and bits like that. It wasn't the greatest overall, not the easiest to use or change any settings. So let's have a look inside. As you can see, it's got some dents and scuffs and bits and bobs. It's not by any stretch of the imagination immaculate. So that's the plan. Okay, inside, as you can see, it's been taken apart to some degree. It's had some parts salvage for, as I say, the touring, because this has just been sat in storage for 7 or 8 months. Generally not in a terrible condition, but as you can see, seatbelt's gone mouldy and bits and bobs. So let's start her up, if you will. She did have a new battery on, as you can see. Christmas tree, normal e46, first time. So I don't know why the camera won't focus. Okay, so Christmas tree. Lot of lights on. We've got obviously the handbrakes on at the moment, so it's red, but we've got there's an ABS sensor out on the back, so we'll be getting around to that. Airbag light is on. Obviously seats have been removed at some point. I've just never turned it off. Now this was a new one. Engine management light, so we'll get that plugged in and we'll get that checked out, and then obviously there's washer fluid, which we're not really worried about. Everything does work. And as you can hear, the back box delete does do really well. So first things first, I think today we'll get it cleaned out, get it washed, and get it ready for some work. All right, guys. Okay, so quick wash, a lot cleaner. So that's the outside con I bought somewhere. It wasn't detailed, it wasn't to any great degree. You can still see there's still dirt everywhere and bits and bobs in all the crevices and stuff, but we'll get that sorted. I even found this while we were washing it. There's a bit of the green wrap that used to be on there, and the old quality, put some electrical tape on the lens, which fills up with water, so we'll have to sort that out. There's plenty of bits to do, plenty to sort out on the way. As I say, we've got main dent there, we've got scratches. This whole vlog will include some bodywork to some degree. Not a great deal unless it's on the bonnet, which we've got some plans for, and maybe even the front bumpers. Obviously they'll need repairing, but we might end up chopping those in half and widening them. So we'll see how we get on. As I say, there's bits where there's scratches and scuffs all the way around. As you can see, some bits are a bit ill-fitting, so we'll get all those looked at. Again, another one here, the rust is just starting to creep in here along that edge. Again, same with that arch. Now I did respray those arches just with colour as opposed to colour and lacquer, so obviously they'll need doing properly, but they're getting cut out now, as we're going for a wide body kit that we're going to make out of all steel. The whole purpose of doing this car is more A, something I've wanted to do for ages, and B, it's just to kind of get back to the roots, as I say, of modifying cars. It's a bit of time in your garage with your mates or by yourself or whatever you want to do. Little bit of a how-to video. We'll do certain things that you may or may not want to do yourself. Entirely your call. Depends what your skill levels are and how much practicing you want to do, and get it done cheaply, really. We're going to go for a wrap on this one as opposed to a respray, purely on the basis of wrap's far cheaper if you can do it yourself. I used to wrap some cars a way back, so I can do that, and it works out a hell of a lot cheaper than doing anything else. So it's more for doing it on a budget as well. Realistically, the external stuff, i.e. wheels, which I've got in stock, and I'll show you those one day. Wheels, they were cheap enough just off eBay. As regards the wide arch kit and stuff like that, now you can go out and spend 800, 900, 1200 pound on a Pandem kit or whatever you want, but if you can cut the arches and do it yourself, then you can probably do it for a couple £100. Maybe even a little bit less if you can get it done quick enough. So yeah, that's the outside done, that's the outside cleaned. As I say, it is a standard 320 Ci. There are a couple of bits that have been, there's a dent there in the bonnet, as you can see, just there. But as I say, that's going to get cut out anyway, so it doesn't really make any odds. That's the outside done, so now deal with this, I suppose. All right, cheers guys. All right, so now she's all cleaned. She's not, again, not detailed, but she's definitely a lot cleaner than it was. At least it's semi-acceptable. All right, so with that amount of mould, there had to be an issue somewhere. Now, we found that issue, and it was the fact that the boot was full of water. Now, you can see, or you can barely see, there was a line about here where the water was up to. So we've drilled a little hole, and, oh, no, sorry there. We've drilled a little hole, and we've drained most of the water out. Obviously, I'll jack the car up and move the water to the back so we get the rest of it out. The reason I didn't drill it at its lowest point is because I want to see in future if any more water's coming in once we've done the little seal fix on it that we need to get done. So at least it will retain some rather than draining straight out, and I'll have no idea that it's still coming in. So the other part that we were doing today, now I mentioned to you we were going to put monster wheels on. Now the wheels that we've gone for, that we had in stock, I did originally try to fit to the other half's Mercedes C-Class. They are 11J all-round square setup, 19-inch wheels. I'll try and edit this so that there's a picture of how hideously wide they were on the 2013 C-Class. That input here, maybe not. However, I thought they'd be too wide for this car as well. I know the offsets are slightly different, and BMW tend to cater for wider wheels. However, I didn't think they were going to sit in that well. So we don't actually need to stretch as far as I thought we did in the first place. Now, they do still need to have 20-inch wheel adapters put on, 20mm wheel adapters put on, but they do actually sit inside, well, just outside the arch. So there's only, at the moment, that wheel's not bolted on, so don't worry about it. They do sit about 15mm past the arches at the moment. However, these are the wheels that we've chosen to go with. So they're not small, and I quite like them. Others will hate them, but that's build your own car if that's your problem. So yeah, we'll wait for the wheel adapters to come towards the end of the week. Obviously, posts are slowed down due to Corona and everything else. So we'll wait for those to arrive so we can get them bolted on properly and take some proper measurements for the arches to be cut. The plan is now, due to the fact that we haven't got to stretch it so far, is to just bring the arches themselves out. So we're going to do a cut line somewhere here on the, you can see where the first ridge is, and then it hits the edge of the arch. So we're going to do somewhere just at the bottom of the first line, because I don't really want to lose the E46 lines, because I think that's half of what makes the car the car. So we're going to try and do it without losing the lines. If we need to cut a bit higher and then panel beat it out slightly to bring it up higher, just so as long as we hit below this swage here, I want to keep these two lines. So that's for a future video in maybe a couple of weeks, if I can hold my excitement and not get the grinder out. But yeah, so we've got the executive model with a built-in swimming pool, and the wheels fit better than we thought.